Well, it seems like the StormWorks tutorials have been much many appreciated with the two that I've done. So, let's get into it, I guess. Let's do a new concept recently, because, I mean, I've been playing the game for a while now, and as my previous videos show, I like to cut to the chase with, like, examples and stuff, so we'll get in here shortly. Um, One of the things that I primarily focus on when building vehicles is making sure I have like mechanical redundancy for everything. It's not something you have to do in StormWorks. It's just a concept I started employing after they added the EMP to the game. Um, so I've been making sure like all of my submarine multi-vehicles that I build all have like some sort of mechanical redundancy to handle everything. And we can see that through some of the vehicles that I have built here. I'll give some examples. Um, I've been working on this vehicle recently, um, which again kind of goes off of that full mechanical redundancy, which can be achieved through using like the steam systems and whatnot. But so everything here, it like the boiler heats up very, very slowly, but it heats up nonetheless just off the control rod or off the fuel rods and stuff here. The control rods are non-electrical, and all of the other control systems for this device are completely non-electrical. And sorry, I had to send a Discord VC there for a second. Anyways, I guess I use some flywheels in here, but those aren't important. You can cheat however you like in StormWorks. That's how I play the game a little bit. But no, let's go grab one of my more, I guess, successful vehicles. I store everything in the workshop because Linux is finicky sometimes. Um, so like here, it's like I have electronic clutches, but I still rely on a mechanical clutch if need be in the case of like power loss. Um, and just recently, I built a fully functioning like HUD system on this newer vehicle here that has like power loss redundancy. So as soon as the button loses power, it logs the last position and continues moving with no electricity. So what is my point here? Um, I guess more or less just showing my approach to like building everything. Everything I do is typically multi-purpose. Um, Even ballast tanks, like flooding the ballast tank, is done mechanically using like a wheel and a um, RPS pass-through assembly here on this track. Like everything can be made mechanical, and that's one of the key things I wanted to highlight for some of my videos going forward on this game. Kind of showcasing why I take the mechanical approach that I do, because a lot of people have told me, specifically in the StormWorks like Discord VCs, they've told me that what I'm doing is meaningless because you can just use electronics and stuff to get your vehicle to do whatever you want it to do. But I've always been one to like fight back against that. Heck, I've been working on this helicopter here and employing that same methodology. It's like all of your RPS like pass through stuff can be controlled by modular engine clutches, which, as you can see here, do not have an electrical node. Gearboxes only need electricity to shift into the secondary gear that you've got selected. So just select the off ratio to be what you want it to be, and then use a clutch to swap between your gears instead. It costs more to do, but doesn't require electricity. You can also employ that on like how you run your engines and how you control things. Like this is a gas turbine. Like once it has started, you can lose power at any point in time, and this thing will continue flying. I've even taken steps to replace the built-in or the in-game gyro with non-electrical components using a physics sensor to drive like your tilt and everything and your compass heading, and it takes in all that data and compiles it into something that's more simplistic to use, and then it runs through a whole bunch of PID loops which do not require electricity to work. And this gives you again just that like hyper redundancy that I go for in all of my vehicles. Um, and again, I have been pulling stuff here off the workshop. The vehicles that I'm pulling here are mine. I upload them. You can see all of my stuff on my Steam page, my Steam Workshop page, which I'll link below in the description. You can go take a look at some of these like all mechanical design. There's only a few of them that actually like fully work right now, just because like a lot of stuff is like in the midst of being finalized. Um, But like the submarine here, it completely functions. You push the fuel rods in mechanically. So literally everything on this ship or submarine or tracked vehicle, I guess. I don't really know what to call it anymore these days. But everything can be done mechanically. Actually, the premise of designing the new submarine with the better view angles is because the screens are electronic, and I don't like that. But that whole redundancy isn't uber important, I guess. I was actually testing the EMP, and your systems only stay down for a very limited period of time, but so it's not really even that big of a deal. But I, wanted to build for it, and it was a desire of mine. And a lot of what I have built, like, has stemmed from that, utilizing more mechanical propulsion. Like this submarine, this is like an older variation of it. It can fly, ignore these propellers, are just there as a test, but like the big fluid propellers here, they don't need electricity to function. So like all of your controls can be done with propellers. You can pitch up or roll or control the yaw of the vehicle all mechanically, typically, if you're using like duct fans or propellers. And I kind of more or less wanted just to create a video showcasing that, because I feel like that's a thing that's often overlooked. Everybody I see is usually diving really big into like the programming and Lua scripting, but there's still a lot of stuff you can do just by using all the mechanical in-game components. Is it efficient? No. I think the electrical components are still going to be able to achieve a higher efficiency overall, but the overall performance might not matter whenever you're dealing with like a state of like high redundancy. You want, like, at some point in time, if you're actually planning and preparing for electricity loss and stuff, I don't know if efficiency is necessarily a factor at that point in time. So yeah, I guess that will conclude kind of what I'm showcasing here. The big thing is like, oh, well, how does the boiler heat up if you're using like a steam assembly? The game actually simulates like some level of heat, like passive heat transfer. Let's not use the smaller one here. Let's just go for the one that I know works. My dearest apologies, it's taking a hot minute to scroll through. There's so many things. Just like hop in and actually showcase a vehicle of sorts that I've created here. Okay, free cam, thank you. Thank you. Again, I apologize for the editing quality, being like actually terrible, but it is what it is. This gyro is not used, it's just here for some reason. Yeah, so to start it, it's like, oh yeah, just like slide your fuel rods in, and then bam, now the reactor is starting and it's starting to heat up. You can witness that back here with this. You can see the fuel rods are starting to increase in temperature. The control rods aren't gonna start inserting until much later. But you can see the temperature of the steam boilers are already starting to go up. Heck, the main drivetrain here is still mechanical. You can still see that there. All of my pumps are being driven mechanically, which means that this thing will take a long time to start up, because like you can see the coolant rate is like very minimal. But it's just enough from what the reactor is doing to heat this up to get it to start. And once it starts, now you have rotational energy, and now everything becomes more efficient. Actually diving into like the thermodynamics, if you will, which the game doesn't simulate anywhere near in its entirety, but like diving into like thermodynamics, like any inherent thermodynamic system is not going to be super efficient upon startup, and startup versus steady state. Steady state is like what we want to be operating at, where it's like all of everything is circulating properly and everything's running smoothly. Where the startup procedure is always going to be inherently inefficient. And this is true for gas engines and gas turbines and all of the other engines in between. Even like the heating system is done mechanically. You just like turn it on, and now the reactor coolant's flowing through this heat exchanger to full fluid to heat the air that's flowing through like the fluid ports and stuff. No, this is not a safe way to heat a room. Coolant stuff in real life is definitely always kept separate. But hey, at StormWorks we don't care. As you see, now everything's spinning up and getting working. Again, we're gonna have to ignore some of like the electronic displays here, because, well, they're not working anyways. And the flood jets do require electricity, which is very unfortunate, at least to move properly. I guess I don't have them hooked up at all properly. Take that back, I do. I just haven't geared them properly, sorry. But now it's like, okay, now we're moving, and everything's being done mechanically. Actually, the main drive tracks are fully mechanical, unlike the flood jets, which do require electricity to turn. Which is why on the newer submarine that I'm building is going back to propeller, because I don't want to rely on electricity. I guess it's just a different way of building, and I want to showcase it. It's important to me, and some of the people that I've shown it to in the server pretty much just cringe at my design methods, but you know, it is what it is. I guess this is more of a commentary video. My dearest apologies, there wasn't really inherently anything new I was showing off here, really giving much of a tutorial how to. But if y'all want me to cover going into like these mechanical systems in depth and making these subsystems work via just complete mechanical input rather than needing electricity to get things started, I can gladly do a video covering that and showcasing all of the steps necessary to get something like that working. And now it's like, hey, now we're on land, and now everything's working mechanically. This thing's very fast, because, I mean, flywheels are still doing flywheel activities. That is a whole different video in itself, flywheel antics, but, yeah, full mechanical movement, and it's pretty cool. I guess that's pretty much all I have for this video. I will be uploading another video here shortly covering a different type of, movement style, which is going to be really fun. So I'm going to end this video here and start the second one.